And we are back once again, only on it is After Hours, only on the After Hours YouTube channel. Joining me here on the line is some lady here. Well, you know her from she's all over the place. She's on ManyVids, OnlyFans. She has her own podcast. Well, she is as they say, a Georgia peach, but likes to get a little spicy. I give the sexy, the sassy, the sweet, and the sultry. I
There
give
you
you
go.
Miss Sweet and Sultry yourself. So, Miss Sultry, let's start off with a big question. How the hell did you get involved in this here? What made a nice, as they say, nice, fine little Georgia girl decide to hop on a bad foot and do a good thing?
Well, I grew up in Georgia, was raised super strict, very religious. Me and my husband both. And I guess we decided one day that we wanted to try some things out that we never really got to try or experience. So we got just real open and honest with each other and decided to try swinging. At first it was we just wanted to have a threesome or something like that, like some crazy experience. And then we went to Trapeze the club and pretty much just dove right in after our first night there. So, and that was almost like 7 years ago. So, that started, and then I started doing OnlyFans probably about 2.5 years ago. Um, and then it just kind of slowly progressed and got more and more and more.
So explain this here, because I'm guessing a bunch of people in Georgia are looking at you going, if you have sex with another person, that means you love them. So how do you separate here? Because you guys are swingers, and
Hmm.
I've talked with a lot of swingers here. Like, what's I guess for you, like, how do you separate sex and love when you're having some wild passionate sex with the guys, and yet you still love your husband who's been it's what now, like 15 years, 20 years now?
Yeah, we've been together 12. Yeah, like 12 years. This year will be
So what
13.
what is it that makes him like what is it about him that you love him and yet you won't leave for anybody else, even though there's some fine, women and men who would love to seduce you, and yet he's the guy. He's the one that has stolen your heart.
Um, so we actually knew each other back in high school. We kind of grew up together. We weren't high school sweethearts. Everyone's like, "Oh, are you guys sweethearts?" I'm like, no, that's not how it was. But we kind of grew up together, and we dated very briefly in high school, but um, we were dumb teenagers and stuff. And then reunited later on. But I think because our families knew each other, it just felt easy and comfortable at first. Um, but like, honestly, he's the one person, not even my other family members and stuff, he's the one person that I feel like truly knows all of me, the good, the bad, I think through this journey of being in the lifestyle, you have to get so open and raw with each other and just like let down you know, any insecurity, any second guessing yourself. You just have to let everything go and really talk about things. And I mean, he's seen every side of me and he's still loves me and supports me and makes me feel loved and special. And so he's my safe place. I know he's got my back. If I want to be wild and crazy, he's like, yeah, I get it, babe. And if I want to put on sweats and be a mom and not put on any makeup, he still is like, you look so hot. So I think I just feel supported and loved in my truest, rawest self. And that is very hard to find. So when you have that, you're not gonna mess it up. I do have a friend that said, in the lifestyle, they're swingers, and I was asking like if he'd checked with his wife if there was something like because we were gonna do like fool around. I said, "Is she good?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, I already checked." He said, "When you got the golden egg, you don't mess with that." And I'm like, "Good man." So I think, just appreciating and knowing what you have. I think a lot of people think the grass is greener, but we just let each other try the other grass, but we still are there.
So the last year or so, you've been doing a lot more content creating. You've been shooting with more professionals. What is
Mhm.
that like now? Where all of a sudden it's like, there's seeds. It's no longer just swingers, swinging parties. It's just one
Yeah.
on one. Like how did you guys get around to that part? Because he's not now involved unless he's shooting the camera. So it's different when you're doing the swinging parties and he's having fun. You're having fun. It's all fun and games. When
Yeah.
it's just you, how long did you guys like talk about this and go over like, okay, honey, this is what I want to do. This is what you're gonna, I'll need you to do. And yeah, you
Mm.
can't be a part of being on camera with me at this point.
Um, he was super supportive. I actually was more hesitant than him. He was like, just do it. Like, what's the big deal? He was super supportive. He does video for me sometimes, but he travels a lot, so often it's someone else videoing or tripods. Um, but it started off a lot just my normal swinger stuff, like play dates that guys would come over because we play solo too. We kind of do whatever. We're all over the place as long as everyone's okay and we feel good about it. But um, so I do shoot with a little more like production company guys now, that have their own little production company. And I do like the quality of it. But I still also have a lot of like amateur POV in the moment, real stuff too. Like I have a mix of more scene type thing or more professional quality, but then I'll also have, like, hey, I randomly decided to suck this dude's dick, video this, and I'll get him to sign some papers if he's okay with it. So I always say, like, I'm a slut in real life. It's not just for cameras. But it's been interesting, like, kind of as we've gone. But he does sometimes get in some stuff. He'll help me with customs sometimes. Or if we do like the big party content parties, he is there. And sometimes he'll join in kind of in certain scenes, or if someone needs like he's kind of like a big lumberjack guy. So it just depends, but he definitely doesn't like care to be in it. If someone needs him, he'll do it, but he's not like, oh, pick me, I want to do it. He's just like, y'all have a good time, you do your thing, enjoy it. But I mean, he's just super supportive of all of it, whatever I want to do.
So for you, we're going to switch topics here. We'll go back to this in a bit, but take me to your podcast. What's it about? How'd you get involved in it? And I guess what made you decide to do your own podcast?
Well, I am co-host on it's O Faces podcast. Um, OFACEZ, O Faces. And we are on the little segment called the Dirty Girls Corner. So it's me and two other girls. Miss Mocha, which is also Poison Ginger, as far as like content, OnlyFans mini vids. She's the main host, and then me and Carrie Corrupted are co-hosts. But basically, what it is real life swinger stories, slut stories. We also give a lot of advice, like if someone's trying to get into the lifestyle, if they're a single male in the lifestyle, learning about new kinks and fetishes, different terminology, feminine stuff. Like we had a whole episode on pussy talk about, just all different stuff that you should know. But usually it's us like just talking about crazy shit and slutty stuff. And I think a lot it's almost like women that have nasty mouths, but that are also like moms and girl next doors. But then we have this like crazy wild side. And I think lots of times people are like kind of surprised at first, and then they're like, okay, I kind of, all right, I actually do kind of agree with this. Or I think we just want to embrace people's sexuality and empower people to, do what they want to do. It doesn't have to be so many rules or social standards or specifics. Just live your own truth.
How is it still doing some of the stuff you do when you now have to be tested? And that's fine for you. I'm guessing you and your husband are tested. You go through a whole, every all the swabs and everything. But for a lot of the stuff, as you said, you get some random guy, you shoot this now. That
Yeah.
probably is gone with all the new testing rules. So for you,
Yes.
how much more is it now? Like, okay, I gotta go a different route. I gotta do more of a content creative. I gotta collab with people. Like, how much do you have to now alter your style just because you're now, on the radar? People know who you are, and
Yeah.
word of mouth gets around. You don't test. There will be hell to pay, unfortunately.
Oh no. No, I see what I'll do because we do are actually in the lifestyle. I'll take a little bit of a content break and we'll just kind of do more our own thing with like me and my husband, or we'll do some of that kind of stuff. And then we'll have a break and we'll just do our own like lifestyle stuff. And then I'll go back to content. But yes, I'm getting tested like sometimes I feel like sometimes 3 times a month during like content stuff. So that's why sometimes I have to take a break too, because it starts to add up all that testing. Um, but yeah, it was interesting, like just the differences, because when I very first started, it was literally just like guys that I hung out with in the lifestyle, and they'd just come over for like a play date, is what we call it. But now it is like we're going to a party this weekend and everyone like is sending in their login, like link stuff so you can check their tests. Um, and now with all the swabs, they're updating all those. So you have to make sure you have the swabs. So it's a lot to line up. And then, like once you get tested, you can't do anything until the content day to make sure you're all fresh. So I haven't gotten any in a little bit because we're trying to save it up for this weekend. So I'm gonna be ready.
What's the goal, I guess, for this year? Because I'm guessing there's part of me that's like, yeah, I want to go to the conventions. I want to shoot with other people. I want to shoot with people who don't come down to Georgia. I mean, for you,
Mhm.
for Miss Sweet and Sultry, is there any plans to start like traveling to these conventions so that you can like meet other content creators, meet other porn stars, meet people you're going, all right, I want to shoot with these people.
Yeah. I'm doing the content party this weekend. We have a bunch of people coming in to Georgia from out of town. So there will be quite a few new people I'm meeting then. And then next month this will be my first for like a big thing. I'm doing Girls Gone Wireless in Orlando. And that one actually does have like a fan type um fans can come and they also have to get tested and show proof and all of that. Um, but they basically get to see behind the scenes, get to meet everyone, and possibly participate in some of the content. So it's almost like a fan, but also content weekend. So that's like, it's a pretty big deal. I think over 20 or 30 girls going to be there, and there's going to be guy content creators there too. So I'm doing that and we'll see where it goes from there. But I would love to I've never gone to Exotica. So I would like to do that this year. And Miss Mocha, the girl that does the podcast, she really wants to go to AVNs next year. So we'll see if we do that.
So
But
last question, we'll let you go because you get to pick who you shoot with. So
mhm.
what do you look for when you're shooting with content creators? Like, is it a look? Is it an attitude? Is it personality? Like, what
Yeah.
is it that you're looking for when people want to collaborate with you and you want to collaborate with people?
I think lots of people would assume they know what I'm looking for. Based on my videos, but I am very open. I am very sexually fluid. I like women. I am open to a little bit of everything. But usually my go-to is BBC. Um, but that seems to be what approaches me the most as well. But I do quite enjoy that. But I do like everything. Like I love women. I like to switch things up. I don't want to do the same thing all the time. So I'm usually like throwing in a little bit of different stuff to keep myself interested, and I don't know. I just like to spice it up. But I mean, if for me it's energy and vibe more than anything. Like if you're funny or you have like a just a sensual vibe or like a deep voice or um I don't know, like when men look at me like steak, that's something I say. If you're like looking me up and down like steak and you're giving me some kind of eyes, I'm like, okay, sir, excuse me. So
Well, there you
it
have it.
really is
I
an
was going to say,
energy and vibe.
well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I give you the sexy, the gorgeous, the beautiful. I give you its Miss Sweet and Sultry, SN Sultry. So before we let you go, where can
Mhm.
fans check you out at? Where is the Twitter page, Instagram, the website? Where can fans contact you at?
I am on Twitter at SN Sultry 13. And then my OnlyFans and my mini vids is SN Sultry. And then I do have like all my links in the bio in my all my bios. I did just make a website that's a little bit different, but that's still very new. My Instagram is Sweet N Sultry 13. So, you know, depending on which site you look at, depends on what variety you get, because you got to be a little more appropriate on certain ones. So.
Sweet and Sultry, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, we are honored and a pleasure having her on the show. We come back. A lot more going on here, only on It's After Hours, only on the After Hours YouTube channel.